Far more than simply a retro-styled street twin, the Triumph Bonneville T100 has all the relaxed nature of the larger T120, but in a smaller, lighter, and arguably more fun and engaging package. Fans of the previous Bonnie will love it. Triumph described the T100 as far closer in character and feel to the T120 than the street twin. This bike is essentially a smaller capacity T120 that is not only 1,700 pounds cheaper than the 1200, it is also 11 kilograms lighter, easier to manage at low speed, and yet just as handsome. If I took pillions a lot or was after gentle hassle-free riding, then I totally understand the character of the T120. But for solo blasts it isn't that thrilling compared to the smaller machine. This is why I was looking forward so much to riding the T100. If Triumph nailed the T120 styling and successfully blended it into the Street Twin's fantastic basic platform, it would be a winner. You don't need me to tell you the T100 looks smart, with its peashooter exhausts, wire wheels, long mudguards, and two-tone tank. It brings every bit of T120 quality with it. For fans of the traditional Bonnie styling, it ticks every box, and for riders like myself who want a bit of modern handling and performance, it doesn't disappoint. The T100 feels very light at low speed, yet turns and holds a line through a bend with more agility than the larger T120. It's not quite as sprightly as the street twin due to its longer forks and does lack ground clearance, as its pegs are set for comfort. But thanks to better suspension and tires, it easily tops the older air-cooled Bonnie when it comes to enjoying corners. The riding position is far more traditional in its stance when compared to the street twin, and the pegs are set low with the bars wide and flat, which is exactly what you would expect of such a model. It feels correct and is pleasingly relaxed and spacious when compared to the more compact street twin, thanks to its larger seat and T120 riding position. Yet it does all this and manages to retain the twin's improved handling. I found the T120 model's front end a bit sluggish to turn, but despite the T100 sharing its chassis and having the same 18-inch diameter front wheel, the reduction in weight has taken most of this feeling away. Like the previous small-capacity Bonnie, the T100 comes with only a single front disc and two-piston sliding caliper. While this setup still requires a good old tug on the lever, the fact it now incorporates ABS makes its slight lack of feel largely irrelevant. On the older model, you never had this reassurance, and the lack of ABS meant you couldn't just grab a handful, especially if the road was wet. During our Triumph Bonneville T100 long-term test, we swapped the rear shocks out for a pair of progressive suspension items. The water-cooled parallel twin motor still thumps along like an air-cooled unit should, but is smoother than before, with a pleasing mid-range and even a bit of a top-end zip, yet working behind the surface is traction control. The clutch is nice and light, and there is even a neat anti-stall rev rise, much like Suzuki has incorporated in the 2016 SV650. This may upset a few people, but after riding the T120 and then a street twin, I actually enjoyed the street twin more. The larger capacity bike is excellent, but its low revving engine is relaxed to the point of being lethargic. In comparison, the street twin 900cc motor brought a pleasing amount of poke and a free revving spirit. If I took pillions a lot or was after gentle hassle-free riding, then I totally understand the character of the T120, but for solo blasts it isn't that thrilling compared to the smaller machine. Triumph has lavished care and attention to detail on the T100, and it looks fabulous. The small touches such as the hand-painted coach lines on the tank and chrome engine details really set it aside from the competition. Our Triumph Bonneville T100 owner's reviews show relatively positive results. The main comments are around the somewhat unsophisticated suspension, which is something buyers often upgrade. Compared to the last T100, which left the Triumph range at the end of 2015, the latest incarnation feels light years ahead in terms of refinement. Looking at my notes, the words nice, easy, and smooth appear on a frequent basis. At 213 kilograms, the T100 is a heavy bike for what it is, but it carries it so well for the figure to be totally and utterly irrelevant. It's a doddle to maneuver, and it's agile enough on the open road, although obviously not in sports bike territory. The traditional wire wheels come shod with Pirelli rubber, claimed to have been developed especially for the Triumph Classic range, and they are more than up to the job required of it. The T100 turned my bad day good. The ride from Hinckley along the Fosse Way to the Cotswolds was supremely relaxing, and sticking to legal speeds, there's probably no bike that I would rather have been on. One of the key factors with the T100 is that it is also available in an A2 license-friendly version that allows it to be ridden by new riders as young as 19, that might be more appealing to kids on the streets of Paris and Rome than it is the youths of London. But with classic being the new cool, it opens up an important new market for them in continental Europe.